Caroline, you're on the phone with Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Good morning, Caroline. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm dynamite. Thank you. Thanks for asking. I'm recording right now, so if it's okay, we'll just jump right into some questions.
Yep.
All right. First, I'd like to ask you, when you were a child, what was your favorite show and what inspired you to become a showrunner?
I grew up watching a lot of teen dramas. So 90210 and Dawson's Creek was by far my favorite show. And Dawson's Creek starred Dawson Leary, who wanted to be a director and screenwriter. And that sort of put the idea in my head, oh, hey, actually, maybe that's something just normal people can do if they follow their dreams. So I went to film school and followed my dreams. And I didn't want to be a showrunner. I just wanted to be a writer. Mm-hmm. And then I had the amazing opportunity of just moving up sort of through the ranks and becoming a co-showrunner with Julie Pluck on Vampire Diaries, which was obviously created by Kevin Williamson, who created Dawson's Creek. So all my dreams came true.
Full circle. Wrote for Melrose Place is pretty close to 90210.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah. So I loved Melrose. It was a little older drama for me growing up, but I loved, getting to work with Heather Locklear. It was really a dream come true.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. So you really like the teen drama, or the teen dramas, you said. So you started in Smallville and Vampire Diaries. What about the supernatural or superpower twist on that you like?
Yeah, I sort of just inherited that interest because I had an internship on Smallville, because I just wanted to work on a TV show, and that one happened to be hiring interns. And I grew into the genre and realized that when you have genre slapped onto family drama or teen drama or whatever, it really helps heighten the world, and it gives you these really helpful story engines to propel the season so that you can churn out more episodes. So for writing on Melrose Place, it was actually really difficult to think of plot because everything was so grounded in real life drama. But on Smallville, you can have these freak of the weeks who come in with their meteor rock poisoning, and now the world is like wide open to you for sort of what the drama can be. So it just adds this layer of heightened realism that makes it super fun. And same thing for Vampire Diaries. You work in witchcraft, magic, vampire lore, all the history. It just builds out the world and makes it so fascinating and much easier to write longer, denser stories.
Yeah, that does opens up a lot of doors. What's your day like working on Batwoman?
Every day is different and kind of just jam-packed with overlapping things. So like every showrunner, you're juggling different phases of different episodes all at the same time. So in a perfect world, I'll pop into the writer's room, which is now, obviously a Zoom room, and hear what they're working on for the next episode. I'll also, take hours a day to be writing the scripts, hours a day to watch cuts, do VFX notes on different shots that have come in. I'll be on notes calls seemingly endlessly. And then there's the odds and ends that come up of little fires that you have to find a way to put out that are just one phone call after the next. So it's always, then prep meetings take up a ton of my time. So like deciding what the props should be or what the wardrobe is, and what people's cuts, how badly are people injured in a car crash and stuff like that. So it's answering questions all day and working with a lot of amazing artists who know what they're doing. So I just say yes to everything that they suggest.
Right. It sounds like 24 hours a day. Do you have a Luke Fox or a right-hand man on the set?
Yeah, we have a bunch of Lukes and Marys on our staff. So we have Holly Dale is our directing producer in Vancouver. So the reason the show looks so good is a huge part of because of her. And then Jay Marchant, who doesn't really get enough credit, but he's our line producer. So in terms of putting out fires, he's just dealing with things on the ground, boots on the ground all day long. So he deals with the schedule and the money. And he just tells me when things take too long or are too expensive, and then I fix them.
So at one point, once Ruby Rose decided to leave, there was a decision made for a new Batwoman. I was wondering, did you cast Jeff, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Javicia, yeah.
Javicia Leslie, I'm sorry, as Ryan Wilder, were you looking for an actor of color for the part, or did she blow you away and you adapted the character to the actor?
Yeah, it was open casting. I didn't really have a clear vision of who I wanted. I kind of knew what vibe I was looking for, and then there needed to be some edge and some street savvy and emotional depth, and just somebody who you can look into their eyes and you feel like they've lived a life just by looking at them. And we met with a lot of actors, and Javicia just stood out light years ahead of anyone else. So once you kind of do this with any actor you cast, but once you kind of hone in on, okay, this is who the actor is, then you sort of start reshaping the character so it just all aligns perfectly.
Mm-hmm. And are there any? She's not the first a woman of color to play a superhero, Storm and Vixen, but she's one of the first to have a reoccurring role on TV. Are there certain challenges or a different approach or responsibility even to writing for a superhero of color?
Yes, I think there's a huge responsibility and opportunity and privilege, frankly. Mm-hmm. The stories I got to tell season 1 were really interesting, and I loved seeing the world through a gay superhero. And we got to tell some stories that involved the challenges of being gay and the irony of being gay and then wearing an out lesbian and then wearing a suit that hides who you are from people. So I found that all very interesting and a privilege to write as well. But now getting to write a Black female lead, her perspective, first of all, is so different than mine. The challenges she faces on a daily basis, big and small, are just so different than mine. And so personally, I've had the opportunity to learn and grow and have conversations I've never had before and feel, uncomfortable in moments and to hopefully learn and kind of see the world through a different perspective. Even though I could never really walk in those shoes, I feel like we're able to tell the story of a person walking in those shoes, and hopefully that shows up on the screen. And it just creates drama that we didn't get to tell season 1. Everything from Ryan's past is innately connected to a moment where she was accused of a crime she didn't commit. And a lot of that has racial overtones. And that, it probably wouldn't have happened to a character like Kate Kane. And so I get to tell these stories, and we have an amazing writing staff that's been helping. So I think they would all agree that it's been a real privilege this season to get to have this character.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Katie's sexuality. Will Ryan's sexuality be a plot point or a story point?
Yeah, it was really important to us. Obviously, one of the big reasons I wanted to do the show was because it was a gay superhero, and there's really like a few, I can't think of any, where the lead of the show is a lesbian. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want to lose that in creating Ryan. So that was really something that was true to, is a big part of this character. In the first few episodes, we just make reference to it. And because I'm really trying to make the audience peel back the layers slowly and really allow the audience to kind of sink in with Ryan, because I know it's a bit of a shock to try to digest a new character. Mm-hmm. And that's the lead. And so by episode 4, we'll start to see more of Ryan's love life and all of the complications that are involved with that.
So would you say is the hero Batwoman inherently a lesbian superhero or perhaps icon?
Yeah, so in season 1, we tried to make, to me, I made a big deal out of Batwoman's actual coming out, because Kate came out, when she was younger, and it wasn't really a hiccup in her life. There wasn't a lot of drama around it, whereas I wanted to play that coming out story with Kate's character, and that, Kate is a lesbian, which is all fine and good, but she's not necessarily the city's hero. But Batwoman is. So Batwoman coming out was a big deal to Gotham and to gays and lesbians in Gotham. So she continues in season 2 to be sort of that representation.
I dig it. Yeah.
Cool.
Season 2 premieres on January 17th on CW at 8 p.m. Eastern. What I've seen that episode, and it's pretty fabulous. What can you say, Ortiz? Do you want to say, Ortiz, what's happened to Kate at this point in the story, or why we do have a new Batwoman?
Yeah, well, we'll see very quickly in the first episode in our premiere what happens to Kate, and season 1 centers around the mystery of Kate's sudden disappearance, and the episode of the show is called Whatever Happened to Kate Kane.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be an ongoing mystery, which I promise will have a satisfying ending for viewers. And yeah, I mean, the tease of the episode is that just when you think things couldn't get crazier, they get cooler and crazier. And I think Ryan is, a fascinating character to watch because Javicia is such a good actress. So I think my hope is that she's a seamless addition into a continuing story.
Mm-hmm. Definitely expands the lore, the Bat lore. You said that Whatever Happened to Kate Kane, is that going to be like the B plot throughout the season? Is where is she? What's happened to her? Kind of
yes.
The search for Kate Kane.
Exactly. It is one of the through lines of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many of our characters aren't innately connected to her. She was the core of the show, season 1, and Sophie, was her soulmate. Jacob is her father. Mary's her sister. Alice is her twin. They all have a vested interest in figuring out what the heck happened to her, and it's definitely a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. Can you say do you want to say, does this expose Kate's identity as the Batwoman?
Yeah, I think what by the end of episode 1 of season 2, sort of all the cards will be on the table for our characters.
Mm-hmm. Ryan has a new suit and presumably some new equipment. Did I see a new Batmobile in the previews? Can you tell about anything new equipment she's going to have? What we can expect?
Yeah, she has she's learning how to use all of this Bat gear, and part of the fun that I wanted to infuse in the first episode is her having access to this and not having any training or anyone telling her how any of it works. Mm-hmm. So I was putting myself in her position and being like, well, what if I just came upon this suit? Like, what would I do, and how would I use this stuff? So there's a sense of fun and intrigue to all of that. And Javicia, I noticed just by watching her Instagram, she's really good at certain martial arts, like she does bow staff training and stuff like that. So we established the bow staff in season 1, but we kind of lean into it a bit more this season. She's just good physically. So we kind of try to move to her strengths in terms of what we can get away with showing her doing on camera. But yeah, so the Batmobile is kind of a new character in the season, and we meet it in episode 1, and then of course Ryan's going to make it her own at some point.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we can talk about Ryan's origin a little bit. If that's not too spoilery? Sure. So yeah, it's very similar to Bruce's origin in some aspects. Mm-hmm. I really like the idea that Alice is responsible. Can you talk about how that ties the seasons together and the characters together?
Yeah, I mean, we're keeping that a secret for the premiere that okay. Alice is the one who killed her mom, but because it's like a reveal, in like midway through the episode. But I can say that, yeah, I mean, part of the reason that Ryan, or the main reason Ryan puts on the suit is to get revenge on her mother's killer. And she needs to go through an emotional journey internally to realize, obviously, the suit isn't crafted for vengeance. It's that's not what the symbol stands for. And she comes to that realization fairly quickly.
Oh, yeah. What series, what TV show or series do you like, or do you think everybody should be watching?
What do I like? I think the last show I sat through was Little Fires Everywhere, which I loved. My favorite show that I wish I had created was Killing Eve, which has a lot of similarities with Kate and Alice in season 1, between the women sparring. And then this shit's not fiction, it's nonfiction, but I watched Gold Rush. I've seen every episode of Gold Rush. I'm obsessed with it. It's when I watch it Saturday morning, and it's just my little, me time.
Have you ever been panning for gold?
No, it's just a fantasy. No, I've never been panning. I've never been in a dozer. I've never, I can't even dig a hole, but I just love it for some reason.
They do make it exciting. Right?
Yeah.
They do make digging exciting. When I was a young lad, I used to have to get up early on Saturdays to fight for my spot on the couch to watch Saturday cartoons with my brother, and pour myself a big bowl of my favorite Saturday morning cereal. So I'm wondering Caroline, what was your favorite cartoon growing up, and what was your favorite Saturday morning cereal?
Well, we didn't get sweet cereal, so probably Cheerios with honey on it if it was a Friday. That was our special treat. We got the honey on our Cheerios. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, bar none. I had all the action figures. I obviously saw the movies in the theater, but the cartoon really was what I tuned into, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you any longer. Is there anything else about Batwoman you feel I should know, or you want my readers to know about?
I feel like we're pretty thorough, but just that that I appreciate people tuning in, and I think there's a lot of excitement coming with Ryan, and then there's also a lot of continuing drama from the previous seasons between the dynamics among the other characters that were surrounding Kate that still feels very rich and continuous from the previous season. So in a way, it feels like, I've heard it been referred to as a reboot, but it's really not, my opinion. It's just a new character enters the fray, and, drama ensues.
And drama ensues. Yeah. It's a definitely continuation of the story. It doesn't seem like a reboot at all to me. So I'll let you go. Like I said, I know you're busy. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And if you do me a favor, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Jimmy. You too.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.